Hi, my name is Ameet Deshmukh and I'm the polymer rheologist out here at Dynisco.
I'm Kevin Craig. I'm the online rheology engineering manager for Dynisco.
My name is John Czazasty and I'm responsible for technology and innovation here at Dynisco.
Hello, I'm Bill Desrosiers, the Vice President of Sales, Marketing, and Business Development at Dynisco Vitron.
So rheology is very important when it comes to polymers and materials where the flow characteristic matters. Whenever there is a melt involved in any kind of material, rheology takes a crucial part in determining the characteristics of that melt and the applications that it will go in.
Rheology is often not a controlled parameter. It is accepted based on printed values on a data sheet that it is consistent, even when folks are mixing virgin and regrind materials. In cases where rheology is checked, materials are sampled and brought to a remote calibration lab where melt flow index or IV or viscosity are checked with laboratory equipment. And the problem with that is when you check it, it can take several tests to confirm you have a problem, and hours can have passed by when material that is not in spec has been processed. And you've got to deal with that poor material through regrind, recycle, or other methods. So making the problem even worse. So yeah, it's a big problem in industry that there aren't good methods to control viscosity online today.
Online rheology takes the time and the effort out of the quality control measurement of viscosity. What it allows the processor to do is to take real-time measurements of the quality of the material as it's being produced. So you eliminate all that time from taking it from the production line to the lab and then back to make adjustments. You can make adjustments real time and control the process.
The ViscoIndcator is a rheometer that can be installed directly into a 1/220 port on an extruder. The 1/220 port is the standard pressure transducer port that Dynisco has been making pressure transducers for many decades. We can use this 1/220 port as a tap to draw some material out of the extruder and process it. We'll use a gear pump to control pressure or shear rate and generate either a melt flow index or index of viscosity that can be used to control your process or monitor and gather data in real time and for archiving purposes.
The ViscoIndcator's intention was to apply rheology for the masses. And what we mean by that is measuring online viscosity or rheology has been around for decades, primarily within the higher end resin producers or in very, very large key accounts or compounders. What we found was lacking though is the average processor getting it to a point where they could afford to put it on every line was missing. And what we decided to do with the ViscoIndcator is design a device that could meet those needs so that every processor could put it online and measure their quality at all times.
So the ViscoIndcator basically grabs a sample from your live process, processes it, and gives you data on viscosity and melt flow rate. It basically tells you how your product is running and if it's meeting your criteria in real time, actually drawing a stream from your live process.
The ViscoIndcator has some unique properties that aren't out there in the market today. It's mainly about how easy it is to use. It's a single plug-in wire with one process connection that can go into an existing port on your extruder. By doing that, you don't have to make special alterations to the equipment. You can put it in within an hour, you're running and making sure that your product is correct. Nothing else is that simple in the market today.
The ViscoIndcator screws into a pressure transducer port, and material is drawn from the process by a pump, and that pump is controlled either through its speed or through the pressure being generated, and that pressure drives material through a die. And using a known pressure, a known volume rate, and a known die geometry, we can calculate viscosity as a temperature, and we can relate that process temperature to laboratory test temperatures.
The ViscoIndcator measures primarily 3 data points. Melt flow rate, for those in the polyolefins and other materials that are interested in that. Viscosity of the material under the conditions it's being measured under. And intrinsic viscosity for those in the polyester and PET worlds that are interested in those measurements. We also report shear rate and shear stress of the material, test temperature, and the data you would want to know that your material is being subject to while being tested.
So as a rheologist, I know for myself that intrinsic viscosity and melt flow rate plays a very important role in how the polymer actually gets processed and how the melt rheology works. I think it's very important when it comes to polymers and materials where the flow characteristic matters. Intrinsic viscosity and flow rate are 2 very inherent characteristics that determines the performance of that material or that polymer. So for me as a rheologist, I think it's very important to have these 2 core characterization parameters of a plastic available so that I know exactly how it's going to perform in its molten form.
The data is available via a local display, or it can be transmitted analog via a 4-to-20 signal to a DCS or some control element, and it is available, it can be collected via a USB digitally, or the data can be archived in the cloud if the instrument is connected to your local network.
Yes, this is our laboratory test setup where we have a small polymer extruder feeding multiple flavors of heads that Dynisco offers. We have this continuous melt rheometer here, the visco sensor here, the ViscoIndicators on the back side. And about what you see here, besides the small extruder, are some control boxes for those elements. Every system we sell comes with a measurement head, as you can see in different flavors here, and a control box, similar to what you're used to for your manufacturing floor. All are HMI run, so you can see there's, each system has a human-machine interface for the operator to control it and for setup of the instrument. In this scenario, in this setup, we also have a small blender, so we're mixing 2 materials together, and currently the ViscoIndicators is controlling that mix.
Anywhere where offline melt flow index or viscosity testing is being done is an opportunity for the ViscoIndicatор to help you, because those tests can be automated and done in real time, and the information can be available to you quickly. Typical applications where this really helps is in polymer recycling. In polymer recycling applications, knowing or controlling the index of viscosity can be very important. Another area is when a mixture of virgin and recycled material is blended together. That blending control today is often done manually by the instincts of an experienced operator, where controlling truly through viscosity can improve or automate that process.
So recycled industry is actually very tricky. You have polymers of different grades all coming in together and actually being processed. I think ViscoIndcator is an excellent use for recycled plastic materials because of the fact that it will help you get real-time data of your viscosity and melt flow rate, and gives you actually an idea of how the whole blend of different recycled products is going to look like. And I think it helps in the characterization of the entire product line for recycled materials, because of the fact that you can adjust more or less depending on how you want your product and your quality to look like. The blend of the whole recycled plastics. You can, if you want a lower viscosity, you can add a higher molecular weight recycled plastic, or vice versa. And so I think ViscoIndcator is an excellent tool to determine which way do you want to go with your product.
When you're thinking about sustainability, it's all about how much recycled material you can put back into the process. One of the things that I find most intriguing with the ViscoIndcator is many processes that I walk into, the blend rate or how much material you can mix into a process is done by historical gut feel. And what I mean by that is a processor will say, I put 25% recycled material in because I know I'm not going to get in trouble. What the ViscoIndcator allows the processor to do, though, is understand how much material of that specific recycled batch can be implemented at one time without sacrificing quality. So that might be as low as 5 or 10%, but it might be as high as 80 to 100%, depending on how the quality of that particular batch or gaylord of recycled material is. If it's good, why not put it all in? If it's not good, you can adjust it accordingly. Viscosity is important to large-scale production processes because of a couple different reasons. Many multinational companies have plant-to-plants where they're making the same product but just in different places, whether it's in Europe, Asia, or the Americas. With the measuring of viscosity, what this allows you to do is make sure that your process in each plant or each line to line is exactly the same. There's no variation between line, and you can make sure your customer is getting the right product.
I think the most value that you can get out of ViscoIndcator is by saving your time to wait for results. This is an online rheometer. It gives you results right in real time so that you can be provocative about your decisions on where do you want to go with your recipe, with your parameters that control your processes, and take a decision right away. I think one of the biggest advantages of online rheology is the fact that it does not take a lot of time to process that information. Your product information is almost given to you instantly so that you can make changes right away.
We don't think so. By implementing and measuring that online rheology through the quality control solutions that the ViscoIndcator offers, we feel that that scrap rate can be reduced extremely by just making sure you understand the material itself. There are three different aspects to quality. It's the people, the machinery, and the material. Many factories focus on the people and the machinery. With the ViscoIndcator, you can address the material itself and make sure that material is right the first time. And if it's not, you can control and do something about it.
Absolutely. I think real-time quality control and real-time data information is where the industry is headed to. I think it's extremely important for people to be reactive and know what actually is happening with their product. We have live processes where you can monitor your actual process on how it's running with respect to its parameters, but we do not actually know how the final product coming out of that might look like. And online rheology will exactly help you determine that. It will determine if your final product is going to be within specification by just analyzing what your actual process is going on.
It's a must-have technology for a simple reason. The more you know, the more you can make sure your quality of your output is proper. By handling viscosity in the material coming out of the extruder and adjusting it if it's not meeting your specifications, you can make sure your product is 100% right all the time.